Now on CoastTV News.
One final play. Sussex Tech High School says goodbye to their football field with one last game. Monday is National First Responders Day, honoring those who risk their lives every day. City following through, filing that lawsuit to block offshore wind development. And witchy weekend ahead. What's being done to prepare for the Sea Witch Festival in Rehoboth.
And our drought persists on the Delmarva Peninsula after seeing seasonable temperatures today. It's going to be quite chilly for part of the weekend before a big warm up into Halloween. My latest forecast is coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Goodbye to the gridiron. One last showdown before this Sussex County field is gone for good. Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Welcome to CoastTV News at 11. We begin tonight with some Friday night lights. It was a big night in Georgetown as the final home game of Sussex Tech's season also meant the final football game on Ravens Field. The school is undergoing a huge construction project, and as CoastTV News reporter Brendan Conroy shows us, it's a bittersweet goodbye.
Bidding one final farewell. That was the case for Sussex Tech High School and their football team Friday night. School unveiled construction plans a little over a year ago for a brand new school building and a new football field. The Friday night matchup against Milford brought a big crowd for senior night. Football head coach Bradley Ellingsworth is a Sussex Tech alum. He says he will never forget the field he once played on.
I think what's more important is all the people that I got to connect with through football, you know, and the field kind of being that meeting place for all that.
Isaac Sapp is a member of the class of 1997.
Right by and I'll see it and I'll have memories, flashbacks, and it'll bring a smile. It's just good to be here to support the new kids and see the school keep growing.
The farewell ended with a turn-off-the-lights ceremony, and with a lot of memories and good times, coaches, fans, and players all have something to smile about and can look forward to their new field coming soon.
Goodbyes are never easy, but from the people I got to meet and had the chance to talk with, they seemed optimistic about whatever the future holds and the next chapter for both the football team and Sussex Technical High School. In Georgetown, Brendan Conroy, CoastTV News.
And speaking of high school sports, playoff seeding on the line and rivalries are brewing. You can tune into the final score right now on the Delmarva Sports Network for all the Friday night lights and all the action on the gridiron. Well, the general election is less than 2 weeks away, and people in Delaware started casting their votes this morning. It was the first day for early voting in the first state. We saw some long lines in Lewis, Georgetown, and Millsboro. Hundreds of people cycling through this morning and afternoon. From the presidential race to statewide races in Delaware, people wanted to make their voices heard today, and some voters we spoke with are hoping that early voting will bring more people to the polls.
I think it's just good to get your vote in as quickly as you can, whether if you do mail-in or early voting. I think this election is one of the most critical elections we've ever had in American history. So early or mail-in voting is very, very important for sure.
And there are 9 early voting locations in Sussex County. You can find the full list on our website, coasttv.com. Starting next week, make sure to tune into CoastTV for our preview week coverage. We will air exclusive candidate interviews focusing on the races that will impact us here on Delmarva. Our Decision 2024 preview week kicks off on Monday. And all this brings us right into our CoastTV poll. We want to know, do you plan on voting early? Let's take a look at the updated results. And so far, it looks like more people are planning to vote early than not. 74 saying yes, and 26% saying no. And we want to know if you're planning to vote early, so you can still vote. It's not too late. Just go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app, and you can find the updated results online. And we're going to take a live look outside now into the Ocean City area. Our first alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono joins us now with a look at the weather. Chris, Let me guess, still no rain.
You guessed right, Christine. That was a pretty good guess. As we continue to see the dry conditions on the Delmarva Peninsula. Right now, Ocean City seeing 60 degrees. It was a seasonable day. Very nice out there. Bright blue skies we had. 67 Georgetown. We saw 70 Ocean City today. 67 in Salisbury. And we're on our way to a very nice weekend. 28 days without measurable rainfall it's been. And we're going to continue to add to this. It looks like over the next few days. You can see we're running some about the 3¼ inch deficit this month. Overall for the year, we're about 6 inches of rain shy of where we should be. Now here's the cold front back off to the west. There's this various shower activity moving through the mountains of West Virginia. That is going to fall apart, but we are looking very nice for the Sea Witch Festival tomorrow. 68. It will be a bit on the breezy side and then much chillier by Sunday. We will talk about a warm up in that 7-day. And believe it or not, we could be near record highs for Halloween. We'll talk more about that coming up.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, new at 11, Monday is National First Responders Day, and there's one organization working to take care of the people that take care of us. That aren't first responders.
Sometimes it's very easy in our world to get this us and them mentality. So what I would say to a citizen is there is no us and them when it comes to the citizens and first responders. It's all we. We are part of your community.
And for any first responders looking for a support system, you can learn about that. You can learn about this organization behind the lines on CoastTV.com. To Milford now, where city leaders are trying something new to keep people in the know. As Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken shows us, something called Rave technology is coming to the city to help communicate critical information during emergencies.
Rivertown, Art Town, Hometown, and now Rave Town. But we're not talking big bass drops. This rave technology is a pulse of emergency communication that will keep Milford informed during disasters.
It gives us the capability of notifying residents of almost anything.
The city's decision to use rave comes after the recent hurricanes across the country, and those tragedies are on some locals' minds.
I would hate to be in my house floating down a river on the roof.
Milford City Manager Mark Whitfield says a reliable communication system is vital.
Whether it's a weather-related incident or something as simple as the trash is behind schedule.
Because in a flood, a storm, a tornado, or any other natural disaster, every second counts, and information can mean the difference between life and death. And if you want to sign up for this new tool, all you have to do is click the link, enter your information, and decide which alerts you want to get, from severe weather to road closures. In Milton, I'm Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
Looking ahead to next week and staying in Milford, the city is the next coastal community to tackle marijuana. The city is considering an ordinance to amend the city's zoning code to address the sale, testing, and cultivation and production of both medical and recreational pot. Monday night, there's going to be a public hearing to talk about code specifically regarding medical marijuana rules, and then also an option to ban or regulate marijuana retail facilities. Ocean City is suing the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management over the U.S. wind project, which plans to bring 114 tall wind turbines offshore. Local groups and businesses are supporting the lawsuit, claiming they're worried about how the project could harm the environment, tourism, and fishing. Ocean City has been threatening to sue since August. And for more information, you could check out CoastTV.com. Staying in Ocean City, the Art League of Ocean City will host a free First Friday art opening on November 1st from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Ocean City Center for the Arts. It'll feature a new show called Modern Allegories. There will be free snacks and drinks, and other exhibits will also be available to see through the end of November and into December. In Rehoboth Beach, the 34th annual Sea Witch Festival started today. On your screen now is the busy streets of Rehoboth Avenue. Earlier today, events started this morning and they'll go through Sunday night, wrapping up with a concert at the bandstand. Officials say there's more events this year than ever before.
Today started at 1 o'clock. Convention hall is open with crafters and that type of thing. And then down at the bandstand, there's everything from Bubbles Boo and Puppies 2 to a tyke bike on the boardwalk for the kids.
Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And to stay up to date on the Sea Witch Festival, just check Coast TV's social media throughout the weekend. The 2024 presidential election has been getting most of the attention, but hundreds of congressional seats are up for grabs, and those determine how much our next president will be able to accomplish. It's a tight race for the control of Congress. Julia Benbrook has more from Washington.
Polls show that something unprecedented could happen this year. The House could flip from Republican to Democratic control, while the Senate could flip from Democratic to Republican control. In the House, all 435 seats are up for grabs. Republicans currently control this chamber with a very slim majority.
Spending these final closing weeks in the swing states, in blue states, in toss-up districts for the House, I'm absolutely convinced. There's an energy out there right now. I'm convinced that we are going to win the White House, the Senate, and the House.
But Democrats need a net pickup of just 4 seats to flip the lower chamber. In the Senate, currently controlled by Democrats, only a third of the 100 seats are on the ballot every cycle. To flip it, Republicans need a net pickup of either 1 seat if the incoming vice president is a Republican, or 2 seats if the incoming vice president is a Democrat.
It's basically going to be about getting our voters out in the ground game and making sure that we get people out. I believe we're going to hold our majority, but it will be close. It's going to go right down to the wire.
The most vulnerable Democratic incumbents in the Senate are up for re-election in states that Trump twice carried comfortably: John Tester in Montana and Sherrod Brown in Ohio.
And one more thing worth noting here, it was exactly 1 year ago today that Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson became Speaker of the House after a split within the party led Republicans to oust then Speaker Kevin McCarthy. And we still have some more news to get to tonight. Coming up next, Americans and the economy, how lower interest rates could be making big purchases a bit easier. And it's Friday, you know what that means. Your cool things to do are up next.
Oh, we're tracking a cold front rolling through tomorrow morning. Could bring in a few clouds to start in Cambridge and Crisfield, but wall-to-wall sunshine through the afternoon. My full forecast is coming back in just 60 seconds.
We're bringing bright hope to Delaware by creating opportunity. As Secretary of Labor, I focused on preparing the workforce of tomorrow. And in Congress, I've worked to strengthen career and technical education. Jobs that might not require a 4-year college degree, but do require skills. With jobs like these. Together, we can build the workforce of today and tomorrow. I'm Lisa Blunt Rochester, and I approve this message because our opportunities should be limitless.
The Toyota RAV4 Legacy is earned as the best-selling SUV in America. Designed with the capabilities and comfort to tame the trail or road. Right now, get a RAV4 with low 3.99% APR. This is my legacy. Toyota, let's go places.
Well, we made it to the weekend, and Mother Nature is going to cooperate with many of the events going on throughout the peninsula. Unfortunately, the drought conditions are going to persist. We're currently at 60 degrees in Ocean City. Winds are out of the southwest at about 6 miles an hour. Now, temperatures right now are generally in the upper 40s to lower 50s. They're dropping a little quicker due, in fact, that we still have clear skies and calm winds. High today, 67, so we were a degree above the average after a morning low of 44. The record high, 81, set back in 1954, and then the record low, 25, set back in 1969. We have that red flag warning up through Jersey, where they're dealing with some wildfire activity there. Here on the peninsula, we still do have conditions conducive for fire tomorrow as the winds will begin picking up. Small craft advisory continues through the weekend as well. So we are seeing clear skies. We're focusing on this cold front. You see, not a lot of moisture. This shower activity moving over the mountains of West Virginia is going to fall apart as it pushes off to the south. So maybe a sprinkle makes it into the area overnight in the early morning hours, but not expecting much from that. We are now tied fourth, 28 straight days, consecutive days without measurable rainfall in Georgetown, and we look to add to that here over the next few. And you could see that rainfall deficit this month. We are running some 3 1/4 inch below where we should be. Now, 6 to 10 day outlook, still on the drier than normal side, but as we go into that 8 to 14, maybe we start to see some rain chances roll back into the fold. And with this dry weather, it's helping to accelerate the foliage. You could see moderate and that peak working its way down into the Delmarva Peninsula over the next week. We're at 49 overnight, partly cloudy skies, not as cold. Now your weekend planner will start off right around that 70-degree mark on Saturday. It will be a breezy afternoon and then much chillier on Sunday as we struggle to get to the 60-degree mark. So there's a bit of few clouds, maybe that sprinkle, not going to amount to much. Clear skies through the afternoon, heading out to Seawitch. It'll be a bit breezy, winds gusting as high as 25 miles an hour. Clear skies into Sunday, and then one of our coldest mornings so far this season comes Monday morning, where some areas could get down to the freezing mark. So there you go tomorrow afternoon with those winds out of the northwest gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour, and then those winds should subside. But boy, I'll tell you what, that wind direction is going to change pretty quickly. Middle part of next week, southwesterly winds, and we're going to warm up pretty quickly into next week. And there you see that 6 to 10 day temperature outlook well above normal temperatures as we roll into Halloween and the 1st of November. Umbrella giveaway winner Ange Hansen of Milford, Delaware. Congratulations. We see that brief cool down here. Very cold morning Monday, but we gradually warm back up into the 70s. And Christina, we're pushing for near record highs potentially by Halloween.
Well, Halloween weekend is finally here, so of course there's lots of frightening fun all over Delmarva. But let's start with one of the biggest outdoor festivals in the region. Ocean City's Sunfest is this weekend. Get ready for live music, a Halloween maze, great food, and more. And it's kind of a last hurrah in Ocean City before it's officially the off-season. In Ocean View, it's Cops and Goblins on Saturday from 1 to 4. The 9th annual festival will be at John West Park. You can expect a costume contest and a petting zoo. Milton's Wicked Weekend is also happening on Saturday from 5 to 8 at Memorial Park. And magic, adventure, comedy, and fun for the whole family awaits you because it's the first weekend of the Delaware Renaissance Fair. Head upstate to enjoy more than 90 craft vendor booths and trick-or-treating. Finally, the Seawitch Festival. The CoastTV team will be there marching along in the costume parade on Saturday, and there will also be live horse shows, and the fun runs through Sunday with live music at the Rehoboth Beach Bandstand. For event details, tickets, and more, just head to coasttv.com and click on Cool Things to Do.
Here at North Bay Marina, we know that boaters have the most fun.
Coming out of COVID, the cost of everything has gone up. I am an independent. Larry Hogan, being a Republican in a Democratic state, he represents Democrats, he represents Republicans, he represents the people of Maryland. He has a common sense ideology. He wants to cut back on the taxes, cut back on the bridge tolls. Those are what's affecting us on a daily basis. He wants to see the people of Maryland successful and financially secure.
Stand with Governor Hogan. Join our team by donating today.
I'm Larry Hogan, and I approve this message.
Your Ford dealer presents America's all-time best-selling SUV, Ford Explorer. The intelligent Ford Expedition. The fun, fuel-efficient Ford Escape. Want more? Visit your local Ford dealer. Now get an Escape with 2.9 plus $1,250 bonus cash, or get Expedition with 2.9 or $5,000 cash back.
These hands care for the herd. My hands need to be tough and sensitive. When my hands are dry and cracking, it's hard to do my job. That's why I use O'Keeffe's.
It's America's #1 selling hand cream for guaranteed relief.
And if it works for these hands, it'll work for yours.
Also try our new hand and body lotion.
Just one kiss. Ooh.
With Reynolds Wrap, cooking becomes so easy, you can feel like the chef of your kitchen. Easy prep, easy cook, easy clean. Reynolds Wrap.
As a math teacher, Matt Meyer knows that Delaware's tax system isn't adding up. So he has a plan to fix it. Give middle-class families a tax cut, invest in schools, and lower costs. But Mike Ramone's plan gives tax breaks to the ultra-rich, which could cut education by nearly $175 million. Matt Meyer knows these numbers don't add up. He'll make state taxes fair so families can get ahead. Vote Matt Meyer for governor.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Well, it seems Americans are feeling better about the economy again this month, thanks to lower interest rates. The University of Michigan's latest consumer survey showed attitudes toward the economy improved in October for the third month in a row, reaching its highest level since April. The university says this month's increase was mostly due to modest improvements in buying conditions for appliances, cars, and furniture, which are usually bought on credit. The Federal Reserve last month cut interest rates for the first time in more than 4 years by a bold half point. Lower borrowing costs make it cheaper for American shoppers to buy durable goods. And speaking of economics, this next story might make you green with envy. If you're looking for a shorter work week, you might want to tell your boss about what's happening over in Iceland. Friday, 2 think tanks published new research showing that Iceland's economy has boomed since introducing a 4-day work week with no pay reduction. Data showed that between 2020 and 2022, 51% of workers had accepted the offer of shorter working hours, and a year later, Iceland logged faster economic growth than most European countries. And not only that, its unemployment rate is now one of the lowest in Europe. Look up at your TV screen for a second. This next story is either a must-see, or you don't want to see, or a can't look away. And you can't say I didn't warn you. In the Florida Everglades, a biologist found a Burmese python swallowing an entire deer. Researchers had been looking to learn more about how invasive Burmese pythons are affecting the local ecosystem, and it looks like we got a grim answer. The 115-pound python swallowed a 77-pound full-sized white-tailed deer. And to put that into perspective, that would be like a 150-pound person swallowing 100 pounds of food in one gulp. In regional news, a house fire in Somerset County caused more than $400,000 in damage. It happened around 2 this afternoon on Revel's Neck Road in Westover. Fire officials say a gas-powered pressure washer on the front porch sparked the flames. 30 firefighters from the Princess Anne Volunteer Fire Company took about an hour and a half to bring the fire under control. The house was under renovation, so no smoke alarms were installed, but no one was hurt. And a small portion of a centuries-old cemetery in Somerset County is in ruins. Late on Wednesday night, a truck smashed through the cemetery retaining wall at Asbury United Methodist Church. It sent pieces of rock and debris across the grounds, damaging grave sites and headstones over 200 years old. Pastor Jeff James says they've sadly seen this happen before, at least to some degree, and he's not sure how long it will take to fix it.
No, it's not the first time. You've had an incident or two over the years, but that was typically someone driving at an appropriate rate of speed and maybe misjudged a turn, not anything as extensive as what we're facing today.
Pastor James says the church is hoping insurance will help cover some of the repair costs. This week in Seaford, plans for 2 commercial buildings and a warehouse on North Market will go in front of City Council. On your screen now is the general area that they would go. The council will also hear a presentation on the Seaford zoning ordinance and consider a resolution to accept $330,000 in grant funding for a study on emerging contaminants. Still ahead tonight, is the election stressing you out? We have some tips to help.
Well, Saturday will feature more sunshine and dry conditions, but it will be a bit on the breezy side. We'll see winds gusting as high as 25 to 30 miles an hour, and we're in for a chillier Sunday after seeing temperatures right around that 71-degree mark. We're going to see a little bit of a roller coaster ride with temperatures, and I'll show you that coming up in your 10-day a little bit later on.
Take your favorite radio station with you wherever you go. Download free today.
Seen these attacks? They're not true. The Republican billionaires paying for them know it, and Larry Hogan does too. So why does a group of billionaires from outside Maryland care so much about our Senate race? Because they want power, and they know Larry Hogan will give Republicans control of the Senate. They'll pass trillions in new tax breaks for big corporations and the wealthy. But you know who they don't care about? You. I'm Angela Also Brooks, and I approve this message.
Farmers are superheroes, true conservationists. We are using soil health practices to help fight climate change. Soil health farmers are working today to protect tomorrow, using regenerative agriculture and climate-smart practices like no-till and cover crops to improve soil health. Healthy soils sequester carbon, improve water quality, and produce sustainable, nutrient-rich food. Soil health farmers are working today to keep Delmarva a beautiful place for generations to come.
My dad, Mike Ramone, is a different kind of public servant. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, right. But I know from my own experience how much he cares about everyone. He's a great father and grandfather. You can see how much their futures matter to him. And he has the same passion for your kids' future. He's focused on fixing our schools and getting teachers and students the resources they need. What I can promise is he'll be a great governor for all of Delaware.
Get ready, Delmarva. Excitement and incredible savings have arrived at Gateway Subaru. Save up to $3,200 on a new 2025 Subaru Outback with financing rates as low as 1.9% for 48 months. Or save up to $2,300 off a new 2024 Subaru Crosstrek with financing rates as low as 1.9% for 48 months. And be among the first to drive the all-new 2025 Subaru Forester. Stop in and reserve yours today. Gateway Subaru, just minutes from the beaches in the heart of Delmarva. Higher standards.
After nearly 3 decades, the Menendez brothers could soon be set free. This week, the Los Angeles District Attorney has recommended that a judge re-sentence the siblings, a decision that was the culmination of a review that came after defense attorneys said in 2023 they had new evidence pointing to abuse by their father. Lyle and Eric Menendez were found guilty in 1996 in connection to the deadly shootings of their parents. The DA's recommendation for the Menendez brothers is now for them to be sentenced to murder, which makes them eligible for parole.
I have to tell you that after a very careful review of all the arguments that were made for people on both sides of this equation, I came to a place where I believe that under the law, resentencing is appropriate.
So what's next? The matter will now go in front of a Los Angeles Superior Court judge who will decide if there will be a formal resentencing. A court hearing has not been announced yet, but it could be held in 30 to 45 days. As we inch closer to Election Day, you may be feeling a bit stressed out. Campaign ads bombarding you with messages of how consequential the election is. That weight can take a toll. So how do you cope? How do you manage that stress? Brian Abel has some expert tips to get you through.
The consequences of him ever being president again are brutally serious.
If Kamala gets 4 more years, she will obliterate our economy.
With messages like those feeding the notion that the 2024 presidential election is the most consequential in American history, it can be easy to feel stressed.
And being exposed to so many news that are not always positive or happy,
or encouraging leads to more sense of distress.
There are ways to manage the anxiety. Mental health experts suggest limiting time exposed to stressful content, like doom scrolling on social media, and do things that are good for your mind, body, and spirit.
Self-care routines that we all have or should have that include physical activation, engaging in activities that are pleasurable, making sure that discussions that we have with friends or family members are not necessarily around the topics that are currently stressful.
And if you find yourself frustrated by a friend, family member, or coworker with different political views, UCLA's Dr. Emmanuel Maidenberg says it's important to remember people are more than just their political beliefs.
Recognizing that opinions, including political opinions, are based in our personal life experiences. Thinking about it that way allows for some compassion to understand that the other person may have different view or different interpretation of some of the things that happen.
In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
This Sunday, join Coast TV for Sunday Night Football. The Cowboys will face the 49ers. Coverage begins on Coast TV at 7 p.m. and stay with us for your local news after.
Delmarva's hit music station, 102.5 WBOC.
Welcome to Beach Barrels. No matter where you're from, everyone is a local. Fun times and good vibes await with a wide variety of craft brews, plus our award-winning Primo Hoagies made fresh daily. Dance the night away at the best live music venue in Ocean City. And there's never a bad seat to catch your favorite sports team. Dine in or relax on our outside deck with comfortable seating and beautiful palm trees for a cozy, tropical atmosphere. Beach Barrels open 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. at 132nd and Coastal Highway.
Prince George's County politician Angela Alsobrooks may live near D.C., but she'd bring tons of baggage. Nearly 2 decades of illegal tax breaks, $59,000 in back taxes, and thousands in unpaid bills. A sweetheart tax deal, typical politician. Slumlord Alsobrooks? Records show she was caught operating an illegal rental property. With so much baggage, how can we trust Alsobrooks to represent us? Maryland's Future is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Life is full of little moments. Joyous laughter. Playful dancing. Bright smiles. Never miss a moment. Built for brighter days. Shell Brothers Homes.
When choosing windows and doors for your home, at Pella, it's your choice. We manufacture maintenance-free vinyl, fiberglass, and wood-clad windows and patio doors, all with lifetime warranties. High performance, energy efficient, and loaded with options to help make your house your home. Industry-first features and benefits make living easier and increase your home's value. Visit our Experience Center or call us today to schedule your free in-home consultation, where we bring the showroom to you.
Nearly 30 years ago, Mediacom was founded on a powerful idea: bring cutting-edge broadband to underserved communities. From coast to coast, we connected 850,000 miles of fiber. Our team broke speed barriers, delivered 1 gig speeds to every customer, has led the way in developing a 10G platform, and now with Mediacom Mobile is offering the fastest, most reliable network on the go. Mediacom, decades of dedication, decades of delivery, decades ahead.
A sun-filled weekend on tap on Delmarva. We're going to see temperatures in the upper 60s to right around that 70-degree mark. It'll be a bit breezy throughout the afternoon, though, with winds gusting as high as 30 miles an hour. Much chillier Sunday, though, with highs struggling to get to the 60-degree mark. And you can get your forecast at any time by calling our First Alert weather phone, sponsored by Bardman, Dallas, Brockstead, and Federico. Now, your Paul Davis 10-day shows much cooler air the Sunday into Monday. Very cold start to Monday. Some areas could be around that freezing mark, so keep that in mind. But we warm up very nicely, and we're approaching that 80-degree mark by Halloween.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Chris. And thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 11. If you're looking for some more local news and local weather, download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, that's up next, and we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 6 p.m. Have a great night.